Lately, the internet been talking a whole lot about what happened to the G-Unit spinning chain in Chicago. Whose hands it was in, whose hands it ended up in, and whose hands handed it back over to 50 Cent. We're gonna go through these stories and see what we think. This video is gonna be a little different than usual because we're also bringing in our own information. Exclusive information in the form of exclusive music never heard before that I believe is the connective tissue between that G-Unit spinning chain, Chicago, and 50 Cent.
My chain spinning, nigga.
So this at the rise. This is 2004, like at the rise of G-Unit. We all know 50's run, 2003, owned it, solidified it. It was his, and he was still on that run. Like he always says, he could have gone on and done his second album, but instead he did the Beg for Mercy G-Unit album. And this is how it goes down.
Hey, your squad ain't on shit. Look what happened. Now
So according to the legend, these are the dudes that got the chain or ended up with it first.
your career on the line, cause Ja Rule finna get your chain. You dumbass.
My understanding is that that was a very real possibility right there, that it ended up in the hands of Ja Rule. That's something 50 didn't want to happen. For Irv Gotti and Ja Rule to end up with that chain at that time would have been a huge W for them that they needed. You gotta understand, during the Fifth's run, it was very hard to make 50 look like he was off his P's and Q's. There were so many opportunities and so many things that could have probably stopped his momentum. Somehow he got in front of those things. I mean, something as simple as them throwing a chair at him at Summer Jam and him catching it. That chair would have smacked him in the face. It would have shown something to the people that they didn't see before. 50 not at his strength. At that time, 50 was all at his strength. Him catching that chair made him look a little bit more superhuman to the people. So this chain ending up in the hands of Ja Rule and them, that would have been a major, major W for them. A deep breath that they needed at the time because they was getting jumped. And it would have been a decent size L for 50, probably the first one we'd have seen him take at that time.
This ain't even how the people got it, so you know that $1 million, we'll be all right. Got to chop pops up. We want them to get a label. Got to eat.
Yo, like, when you do something like that, you really think that's gonna work? You gonna send out a video, they're just gonna send you a duffel bag with $1 million in paperwork to have your own subsidiary label underneath G-Unit, Interscope, Shady Aftermath, Interscope. I've never seen that work.
I'm finna go work out and get my swole on. Man, let us up in this game, man. You know what I'm saying? This shit real. We trying to go legit with.
I don't want to hear the sob story at the same time that you extorting me. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't tell me how hard you got it in Chicago while you extort me. So it was basically a show and tell of the chain. Haha, we got it. Here it is. It's going to end up in their hands. Run $1 million in some record label paperwork, and we'll talk about it.
We were just supposed to be doing a radio promo in that city. They actually had said we wasn't supposed to go out just to do the radio and go back to the hotel. Well, I had never been to Chicago, so I wanted to get out. The G-Unit chain was on Buck's table in his room at the time. I guess he had a company upstairs at their hotel or something. She called his name. He went upstairs. I grabbed the chain. We went out the door. They was coming down the opposite side of the street, and all of a sudden they just crossed over. And then they walked right through us. So as they walking through us, we looking like these niggas on. You know what I'm saying? So we watch them. They walk on through us, headed towards the club though. Okay? So we didn't think too much about it. We watched them, and they went on and walked. Then they walked on around the corner. They didn't go in the club. They walked on around the corner. Well, when they walked around the corner, so many people outside, we weren't thinking nothing of it. So we turned back around and start chopping it up with people or whatever. So all I remember is a gunshot. And when I heard the shot, I seen the flame by my foot, which ended up being one of the guys that went around the corner, cocked the gun, came back around, ran up behind me, grabbed the chain from the back, shot at the ground. Now he's got his hand on my piece back here and shooting at the ground saying, give me that. Now when he's saying that,
so I'm holding it like, Yeah. So when he shot that second shot, I looked down, that barrel was that long. You know what I said, man, if you don't take this motherfucking necklace, get the away from me. Right. He had to do is show me that, I was saying here.
You got it.
You know what I'm saying?
That's it.
So I seen the barrel the second time after the second shot, and that one I went on and flicked it off.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? He grabbed it and ran on up the street. You know?
Y'all really could have got smoked over that chain, like, and there wouldn't have been no take it off. They'd have just let it fall off, go down with you.
I got you.
And Manny's gun was sitting back.
Yeah.
So it had jammed. You feel what I'm saying? So it was the grace of God, because shout out to Chicago, man, because I heard when they get you, they don't shoot at the ground.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? That first one's supposed to have been in you.
Right.
But that's why I said it probably wasn't about me. It was about the chain.
I tell Buck that I just got, somebody just took the chain. And Buck's like, took what chain, Tay? I'm like, the G-Unit spinner. He like, the G-Unit spinner? Tay, no, Tay. You wasn't even supposed to have the chain. How you get the chain, Tay? And I'm like, man, listen, it's already happened. You think I want to hear this shit from you right now? He like, man, you finna tell 50. You finna tell him, man. I ain't telling him.
Hey, it always be the dude that something up and he it up for you, and then he come back and you go to tell him about himself, but he don't want to hear it now because he just went through it. You need to hear this. I don't want to hear it. I just went through this, that, the other. Who the told you to take the chain and go do anything with it? It's not your chain.
Yo, Fifth, man, the chain just got took, man. And I guess Fifth like, what chain? He like, the G-Unit chain. So he give me the phone, and Fifth's like, are you all right? And I'm like, yeah. He said, well, that's really all that matters, that you all right, But y'all wasn't supposed to be out either, Tay. What made you do that? And I just wanted to kick it. He said, all right, it's okay. Long as you okay, it's cool. Give Buck back the phone. So I give Buck back the phone, and all I knew was they sent Tay mother ass home.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. You headed home, Papa, straight back to the block. You're a liability now. Been a liability, it's just you revealed yourself at that point.
The people who robbed G-Unit of their chain decided to do multiple interviews bragging about the incident. And the first interview they did was with Don Diva magazine, issue 19. Don Diva asked them this: why don't you let the people know exactly what's going on? And the robber said this: well, basically we caught the guy outside the club snoozing with the G-Unit shit on. We was really upset that the guy...
We basically caught Buddy outside the club snoozing with the G-Unit shit on.
So in the meantime, we run up on them and take the chain from them. And from that point on, we try to sell them off because it's worthless to us. The chain's worthless. All I wanted was $100,000 for the chain. And then my man called me back and was like, that's too much for the chain.
They're not going to pay no $100,000 for that chain. That ain't a $100,000 chain.
Game, who be with them, he was going to square the situation out. I told them I want $20,000 from the motherfuckers and they can work the rest of that shit out.
Yeah, everybody had big $20,000 dreams.
The rest of the interview is basically these robbers saying that they want a fair chance in the music industry. They want a chance to shine and do their own thing, and that's why they took the chain. They don't really care about the music. They just like the fame and glory from it so they can get some eyes on them so that they can release their own music and do their own thing. They also then appeared on Open...
So the chain getting jacked is basically an origin story that everybody agrees with. D-Tay don't seem to be lying about standing out in front of a club and getting his head pushed through the chain at the end of a long barrel. It's the returning of that chain to 50 Cent, which is where the stories don't line up.
I don't know exactly what happened with the chain as far as them getting it back or whatever. It was a story about Spider Loke and Game situation. Shout out to my Uncle Godfather in Chicago, man. Shout out to Uncle Godfather, man. He actually stepped in on that and located that chain the next day.
He was addressing the room about the G-Unit spinner that got took, telling the whole story about how it had got taken, how he tried to retrieve it, who he had met. This dude named Godfather name came up as one of the most main factors in the situation that was supposed to help him get his chain back. How his homie D-Tay came to borrow his chain. D-Tay went to the club. Niggas tried to rob him. Bam, bam, bam. Whatever, the chain is gone. Buck went back to the radio station, asked these people, like, if your chain get took in this neighborhood, who should you go holler at?
So Godfather supposed to be this OG, but it was having a summer jam that summer. Godfather was throwing the concert. He's the promoter, not one of the promoters. This is his show. When Buck went to the concert to try to get his chain, the Godfather dude told him, stay right here, don't leave. I'm gonna help you get your chain, youngster. And throughout all that, he said he was walking through these dark halls. Every few steps he went, people was there just smoothly stopping one of his securities. You can't go no further. Then he said, look, I only got one left. He said, without me knowing, somebody like, all right, homie, you straight. Before the next he know it, he was making his round last corner by himself.
So just consider the Godfather a ghost. We don't got to go no further than that. He's a ghost, a powerful ghost. So far we got Young Buck going to the radio station, them telling him, you got to get up with the Godfather. Godfather's promoting the event. Godfather tells him, stick around here. We'll take care of this. As Young Buck goes through the halls of this festival, somehow his security's getting stopped and he ends up by himself. Then enters JoJo Capone to the story.
Young Buck tell him like, hey, I seen you was on a DVD with Game. You Game homeboy. This should be cool. Like, okay, if you got the chain, I seen you. He like, the dude got kind of like embarrassed, like, didn't know he was gonna recognize him. He say, the dude like went, they took a break, got on the phone, and whatever price that he had told him at first, he wanted $20,000 for the chain. He said once he said, Buck say, hold on. He called Game, like, hey bro, I'm out in Chicago. The chain, nigga, I seen on your DVD. Oh shit. He said after he talked to Game, the dude came back and wanted first he wanted $20,000, now he wanted $100.
And you got robbed for your spinning G-Unit chain in Chicago. I called my nigga JoJo to get it back. He had the shit in his hands and you ain't had a 10 stacks. Picture that. I thought we was G. DJ Ski ran exclusive shit. I did.
How did your name get attached with the G-Unit spinner chain and Young Buck? Was it because the chain was lost in Chicago?
Yeah. And I recovered it. So the first battle rap record, which was not the first battle rap record, but the biggest battle rap record at that time.
I heard him say he recovered it. He said the words, I recovered it.
And I recovered it. So the first battle rap record, which was not the first battle rap record, but the biggest battle rap record at that time, which was 300 bars. And you know what I'm saying, of course, Game had my name in it. He said, when you got robbed for your spinning G-Unit in Chicago, I hit my nigga JoJo to get it back. He had it in his hands. You ain't had the 10 stacks. Picture that. Thought we was G-Unit, you know? So that was like a huge record for the industry. Once again, put me in the middle of a feud of Game and 50. So it would kind of like tarnish the relationship that me and 50 had because of that. But I was just doing a good deed. So you see how you can do a good deed and it can backfire on you. You see what I'm saying? So it actually, to be honest, from that point, I was like, I don't care what happened to nobody no more. You know, I don't want to be involved. Don't call me about it or this and that. And of course, I shouldn't have never said that because it seemed like I got called for everything out of that. It's like soon as I said I don't want to be a part of nothing, don't call me for nothing. Man, I turned it to, I think they called me the hip hop mediator. TMZ coined me that. You know what I'm saying? So I was just like, wow, you know, but whatever. If I can help somebody, like I said, man, I always usually try to do it, you know.
He said the words, I recovered it. That can mean anything. I got access to it. Run whatever the money was, and I got access to this piece. I get it right back to you. It seems he didn't have the money, and it seems like that didn't happen. So I'm still saying that I'm sure JoJo Capone could have got him the chain, but it didn't get there. I haven't heard him say that he put it in 50's hand or sent it there directly or even made the transaction with Buck. From my understanding, from everything that's being said, from the Game song, from all of it, is Buck didn't have the money and people started whispering that maybe JoJo had set him up and stole the chain, made JoJo not go through with it. So I'm not hearing that he got the chain back to G-Unit.
So let me ask you, did Chicago make a point to like disrespect G-Unit by doing this? Because, you know, this is the hard group from New York.
No, it ain't a point of disrespecting. It was just a robbery. It was just a straight up robbery. I see this chain, it's diamonds or whatever, and I want it. A robber took it. And then people start saying, oh, JoJo took it so he can get a feature from y'all, because that was the climate. That's what was going on in LA and basically probably Chicago too, that if somebody has some leverage, you see what I'm saying? It's like, oh, we'll do this song with my artist or something, and then I'll give you your shit back or whatever. But that never was my case. I never asked them for no features or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? I just got the chain back for them, and
that, gave the shit back,
So now he's saying he got the chain for him and he gave it back. Did you get the chain for him and give it back, or did that whole thing fall apart? Where's the end of the transaction? Did Buck give you what you wanted? Evidently, they weren't going to pay what you wanted. Did it get up to that point and then die on the vine? Again, I'm sure he had the ability and the access to get the chain back. But did the transaction come to a complete close? Did they say, hey, Buck, we want this much money? And Buck said, I hear. And they said, I hear. Did that happen? I'm not hearing that. I'm hearing that shit went sideways. Everything went pear-shaped.
I just got the chain back for him and that, gave the shit back,
How hard was it to actually get the chain back?
It wasn't hard at all, not for me. I'm in the street, you know what I'm saying? So anything that was going on in the street, I had full access to know what was going on.
I think there was a situation with either Young Buck or the game, and they had to get you to get the jewelry back or something like that, right?
Yeah, and that's been viral right now. I think Tony Yayo, shout out to G-Unit, shout out to them, but they've been doing an interview and Tony Yayo and them, and they've been speaking on some twins from out here, that
Oh, I've heard you talk about that story.
Yeah, that wind up testifying against Chapo, and I don't know if to say they giving them credit for getting the chain back, but if that's what they choose to do, so be. You know what I'm saying? When that incident happened, the chain had a price to it.
Which chain was it? Game or Young Buck?
It was Young Buck.
Yeah, it's the one it's a spinning one.
The spinning one. So it was but he gave it to his friend D-Tay to
The question is, did Buck ever go through, or did G-Unit ever go through with paying JoJo Capone for the piece, and did JoJo Capone put the piece in their hand? That's the only question that exists.
Well, D-Tay actually took it without Buck acknowledgement. Yeah. So see Absolutely. How y'all here now, and if Cannon put on your jewelry and just go outside to 7-Eleven and he get it took.
Okay.
I don't want him to lose his life for it. You know what I'm saying? So give it up. You feel me? So in the process of that, Game called me, told me what just happened, and put my ear to the street. I was able to do that. But what I don't like is if I know that it was two certain rumors of we took it and now we trying to sell it back.
Okay.
But I never once asked for no record deal. I never once asked for no feature, because I knew 50 them already. So I never asked them for none of that.
50 Cent as well,
yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I never asked for no feature. I never asked for no record.
That's cool. You never asked for those things. What did you ask for, and did you get it?
Deal? No, none of that. And was able to get, so then another guy got involved and bought the chain, and then that's how it got to Chapo on board, to the twins.
All right, it's taking a detour here. This is the first time we hear this part of the story.
So that's how it happened. So I got called about the situation. I located it. It was for a fee to give it back. Transaction was made. Bam. You see what I'm saying? So that was that.
And there it is. Another way that all of these theories can have some semblance of truth to them, or some truth to them. According to this new wrinkle, exactly what I said. He had the access to the chain. He had a price tag for the chain. Buck didn't have that money for the price tag. Somebody put up that money, secured the chain. So basically, the Wolves got the chain from D-Tay. JoJo reached out to get the chain from the Wolves. Young Buck couldn't pay the Wolves' fee or JoJo's fee, so he didn't, or chose not to. Somebody, whether it be the ghost of the Godfather or whoever it was, somebody put down the paper to get that chain from JoJo Capone.
It was for a fee to give it back. Transaction was made. Bam. You see what I'm saying? So that was that. The situation happened and they was able to get it back. Bam. You know what I'm saying? And that's how that happened. So now the interviews about it and all that, like, I was getting so many people adding it in the comments like, JoJo got that chain. JoJo got that chain. JoJo, I don't know why y'all saying these dudes. JoJo got that. But if you notice, I never even commented back to none of them.
Yeah.
You got it back,
Nobody was harmed. Nobody was hurt.
He got it back from the Wolves. Somebody paid the fee to get it from him. Could it be the same person that the Flores twins reached out to get the chain back?
50 wasn't taking no phone calls from him because of the whole shit. He was waiting till he saw him in person to speak to him. And the cast we was from Nashville was so close in his circle that when Young Buck got to Atlanta, he had to go straight to the radio station. But the people we with was so tight with him that we was in his hotel room before he got to his room. Oh, so we in there kicking it, smoking it with a portion of his road crew. So by the time he came from Chicago to Atlanta, went to the radio station, got to his room, it's a group of his homies in the room with some cats that he don't know, which includes me. Yeah. So this shit just happened a couple days ago. He get right in the room. I'm like a fly on the wall, sitting in the corner. And he like he telling a story from the moment, every detail, how the chain got took, because it got taken from D-Tay. So it didn't get taken from him. He talked about when D-Tay first came and asked me to wear it to the club. And he's telling the story about what happened all the way for him trying to go.
All right, so we know that that's not true because D-Tay, and people misspeak, but D-Tay said he snuck it out to take it to the club.
He goes on this passionate presentation about the moment D-Tay came and woke him up out his bed, asked him could he wear the chain.
Again, that's not a fact. See, this is a guy telling everybody what Buck said, but we heard from D-Tay's mouth that Buck was up entertaining a young lady, and D-Tay went in the room and grabbed the chain off the table and bounced with the chain. At no point did D-Tay wake up Young Buck and tell him, can I borrow the chain? I would have chalked it up to misspeaking if he would have said it once, but this has become a concrete part of Spider Loke's story, of the legend.
Back and get the chain back. Shout out to Godfather and JoJo Capone from Chicago. But in the midst of all that, I swear to God, he telling this story, this important ass story, I just start rapping a cappella, drown him out.
As Young Buck is passionately sharing the details of these events with his comrades, I most disruptively, disrespectfully just opened my voice and began to rap and drown him out loud, to where I just continually rapped and rapped and rapped until he finally stopped me and was like,
what the fuck? How you move a nigga with words like that? Them was just words. We all know the same words. Like, niggas be on me with that Pac shit. Fuck that nigga, you got it. I can't believe you ain't got no situation. Oh, you gonna get a situation. If my people can't make it shake, somebody gonna make it shake. Oh, you got it. How you move a nigga with words like that?
Remember that shit, cuz?
What the them is just words. Everybody know.
Here we go again, like, I don't even know if I want to sit through this again. But it's all part of the legend. It's all part of this intricate story, right? This self-aggrandizing is led by ego. There's quotes in it. Reads like a good book. It reminds me of the Al Bundy touchdown story.
Hi, I'm Al Bundy. Scored 4 touchdowns in one game on this field. 4 touchdowns in one game. 4 touchdowns in one game? 4 touchdowns. And I'm not talking the whole year. One game.
But it sounded good when he was first telling it. You know, I didn't know he made men. I'm like, but all I know when he's mentioning made men, my nigga J.O. Felony worked on a made men project. So he mentioned game name.
All I knew is J.O. had did an album with the made men. I knew deep down it wasn't no connection, but I tried to I called J.O. on speaker right in front of Buck. The names that's coming up I'm familiar with. Yeah. I'm finna try to tap in with.
So you just gonna call up everybody that you know that ever made a Made Man song just because that's the connection? I guess whatever worked for you, right? It's like you triggered by names. Now you're like, oh, hold on, let me call my boy. He know the Made Man guys. Like, you making connections that ain't even there just to put yourself in the situation. He mentioned Game. He mentioned J.O. Felony. Just because you had a connection to Game and J.O. Felony and Suge Knight, all of a sudden you could get on the phone and just tell everybody, oh, you know, I did this, I did that, and they robbed my brother's chain, and I feel like they took it from me, and you just inserted yourself in everything.
I got on the phone with J.O., like, cuz, it's an incident happened, Chicago, G-Unit spinner, whoop-de-wop, made men chain, my nigga, tap in, see what you can see. J.O. on the speaker, like, I don't really know, but I'ma see, cuz. I'm like, all right, good looking, Crip. I called Game. One day I called him out the blue, concerned about a G-Unit spinner And I know in his mind, he like, what the fuck is he giving a fuck? I'm in the room with young Buck. It's like, matter of fact, I think Buck called on his phone, then I began to talk. I think that's how he first realized, like.
There's a change in the story right here. So, according to the other interview, Spider Loc said,
that I give a fuck about a G-Unit chain.
Right.
But I don't get, immediately I'm like, hey, cuz, check this out. The chain that was took in Chicago, my brother was there at the location. I feel like the chain got took for me. Game not having no clue that young Buck is listening or I'm in.
Oh, shit,
damn.
okay.
Them Spider, we from Compton. I don't give a fuck about them. Fuck that chain. So Buck got to hear this with his own ear.
Just a bunch of snakes slithering in the grass, smiling in each other's face. Just a whole snake game. It's the music business, though.
I don't have to tell you what this said or none of that. I even think Yayo was on a three-way. I had just met him through the phone. So they both heard it. So bam. He also
And
was.
they were all cool with each other.
All cool. This was the biggest shock of their life at the time. And then, but Yayo was saying at the time, I told you I don't trust that. Y'all fucking with it.
And I was on the phone when Spider Loc called you. Your punk ass said you ain't want no problem.
He had Game on the phone, on speaker, and Game was saying, I don't give a shit about that chain. I ain't worried about them G-Unit dudes. And supposedly Buck heard it, right? Buck confirmed this in the song too. And supposedly Yayo was on three-way, right? You saying now he's calling from Buck's phone, so you think Game's just gonna talk crazy on speakerphone, knowing he just got a call from Buck's phone? That doesn't even seem right to me. And it all seems like just some inject yourself into the story so that so-and-so could see you like this and he could see you like that and that person could see you like that. And I guess it worked for you, dog.
Room with young Buck. It's like, matter of fact, I think Buck called on his phone, then I began to talk. I think that's how he first realized, like, what the fuck? My spiel back then when I approached everybody I knew, JoJo, eventually Suge, Game, and everybody, I said, cuz that spinner got took. I said, my brother was there. I feel like it got took from me. My brother wasn't there, but this is how I explained to these niggas who wonder why I'm so give a fuck.
You didn't explain. This is how you lied to these dudes.
Buck called the Chicago nigga Godfather. Salute to that nigga. I told him I was from LA in order to make me aware of his stature and his status. He was like, well, if you from LA, you need to know. When I come to LA, I touch down with niggas like Suge Knight. Suge had the opportunity at that point because, mind you, remember, I walked away. Now I'm over here with these niggas he don't like. Suge had the opportunity to downplay what I represented right then and kill it all. But, however, this is why I salute Suge in hindsight when I start analyzing the whole play. The Godfather nigga called young Buck back and told him that chain is gonna come back and you can thank that Spider Loc nigga.
So why did the Godfather, all of a sudden, after vetting Spider Loc through Suge Knight, right? Why does the Godfather all of a sudden, all right, Buck, you getting your chain back thanks to Spider Loc? When he told you to wait for him anyway, before the whole JoJo Capone thing, he told you to wait for him anyway. He was gonna get you the chain back anyway. So what changed everything? And what's the connective tissue? How'd you end up on that phone call? Y'all was just putting bullshit in the background. Everybody that Buck was going to reach out to, y'all was going to get on the phone and say, my brother got robbed in that situation and I feel like they took the chain from me. Your brother didn't get robbed in that situation. You was lying. That was a lie then, wasn't it? You just said that. And from your own words, the Godfather was already going to get Buck his chain back anyway. Buck just got out of Chicago before he was able to see him again.
Suge validated it versus hated like a lot of these other niggas do. That's why I salute him on that level on some real shit.
That's why I doubt the whole story. I don't see Suge doing that. I don't think Suge could motivate anybody to get a G-Unit spinner chain back when Suge hated G-Unit, man. Whatever his relationship with Spider Loc, that's one thing, but Suge hated G-Unit. If Godfather was his homeboy, Suge would have probably tried to get the chain for himself. Suge would have sold that chain to Ja Rule and the Nerve quick. So there's a lot of this that just sounds funny. Maybe true. Maybe. Up to a certain point. I just know that I haven't heard Spider Loc say that he had the chain in his possession. I heard him say that the Godfather said he was going to get it to somebody because of something he said to Suge Knight. Suge Knight, a guy that hated G-Unit. Suge Knight, a guy that showed up with a bunch of essays to the In the Club video shoot, it just doesn't make sense to me.
And therefore, the actual process of the chain changing hands to get back, I couldn't tell you. But I'm going to tell you.
That's it. That's his out right there. As far as the process of the chain physically getting back, that I can't tell you. So basically what we got is a story. A story that I don't hear from nobody else, and the only other person that mentions Godfather is JoJo Capone. So I'm not saying none of that happened. It's very possible all of that happened. It's very possible that all these conversations went down the way they went down, right? Does it mean that that's how the chain got back? Nobody has taken claim to the actual physical having the chain. You never saw a picture of Spider-Loc with the chain. If that's your claim to fame, wouldn't you think if it got to him in his hands, he would have took a picture with it? Of course. But he's telling you, I don't even know how it got to them physically. I just know I was told that the Godfather said, hey, Buck, you gonna get your chain back thanks to the Spider guy. That's all I'm hearing. So that's his out right there.
I couldn't tell you, but I'm going to tell you this. When I first started hitting the circuit with these niggas doing interviews, and I was in the room, the one thing every DJ wanted to ask me about was, now, Spider, I hear you got your deal because you got the G-Unit spinner back. So that was what the buzz was.
Well, there you go. Evidently, it worked out for you. All of that jumping into this phone call and into that conversation and awkwardly rhyming in people's faces, that's all it is a legend. Because you can't even tell me who put the chain in the man's hand.
Wasn't there a whole situation over Young Buck and his chain?
What, in Chicago back in the day?
It was Chicago, right?
Yeah, that was crazy. Yeah.
What happened exactly?
He got caught slipping. You in Chicago with that big ass chain on? I mean, things happen.
Right.
Merry Christmas.
He got the chain back though.
Yeah, that's a long story. Yeah, the chain came back.
I know about this story. Yeah. We'll just leave it alone though.
Yeah, the chain came back, definitely.
Well, you don't have to comment on this.
See that they didn't even want to talk about that story at this time. He ain't dropped no names. On Drink Champ, it was DT got yapped for the chain. Gabi made the call. Now, again, we've heard our prophets say, oh, that was a publicity stunt. The whole chain story was a publicity stunt just to get the twins some street cred, as if pushing tons wasn't enough.
A quick digression on the 50 Cent spinner chain, 50 Cent the master of marketing. It's definitely a total lie that the Flores twins got 50 Cent stolen spinner chain back in Chicago. Just all marketing stuff. I guess I shouldn't be shocked, but mildly disturbing to see even in these real serious criminal things, people have just turned them all into ways to make money, so they just say anything. All lies.
You and I have turned it into a way to make money as well, bro. I ain't lying. He made it seem like they made it up for the sake of marketing, right? Well, this right here lets you know that there was a story, but it's a story that he wasn't ready to talk about at that time, right? I believe when they hit the marketing switch is when he opened his mouth and told the story and said the names and said what happened. Once they hit that PR switch, Gates was open to tell the story. Vlad didn't even want to touch on it here.
I remember when the G-Unit spinner with Buck was missing. Buck was in Chicago. Cabrini Greens, all these, he could have got killed trying to politic for that change back. His man took it out. Man, DT, he took it out. He go out to Chicago. 2 minutes later, take the chain off.
He's saying names in this one.
Buck running around. He's trying to get the chain. I'm like, yo, Buck gonna get smoked. He in Cabrini Greens. He gonna get smoked out there, 50. Yeah, he gonna get smoked, man. Nigga running around the projects in Chicago. Yo, you know who got the chain back? Them El Chapo twin niggas.
Isn't 50 doing it?
Yeah. Them El Chapo twin niggas. Them Spanish niggas. You know how that shit go. Them niggas was like, yo, we didn't know it was them at the time. We just found out like later on. And you know Gabby.
Now here we are. He's dropping names and he's dropping information. And it seems like when he was on Vlad, it wasn't something they really wanted to touch on. But now that 50's doing a podcast with these guys, the cartel ain't off limits to speak about. Why? Because now it's promotion for the show. But it sounds like a connection they didn't want to lean too far into at the beginning, understandably. But this is a different story.
You know Gabby.
Yeah, I know.
Gabby called, yo, we need the chain back. Call them Spanish niggas. Nobody gets no work in Chicago.
That could be probably a little added extra stank, but from my understanding, there was no need for it. I think something like that is implied. People on the street know that these guys run the pipeline. It'd be in my best interest to make sure that they get what they need so that the pipeline ain't ever interrupted. but I don't think nobody had to say it to him.
It was the Chapo twins. Them niggas.
What's the name?
The Flores twins.
Flores twins.
Nobody getting no work.
Not Kato.
Not Kato. Kato was dead already.
Oh, God bless.
That's DMX man, right?
Yeah, God bless.
It was the Flores twins.
Yeah.
Gabby made the call. Swear to God, that's when I respected Gabby.
Nori injecting other parts of the story he don't even know about.
The chain came back. Gabby made that call. The Flores twins, them niggas had, come on, them niggas work with El Chapo, bro. The Flores, you ain't see 50 shit on Apple?
Yeah.
Bro, them niggas work with El Chapo. The only reason why they told, cause they was gonna get whacked. They was gonna get whacked, bro. They fucking with Sinaloa content, all them niggas, man.
He saw it as an opportunity to make a relationship, and they gave the piece back. And then they sent it to was it Gabi? Gabi was working at RCA at the time with Steve Rifkin and them. And then
That's the exact story that I heard. Not RCA, SRC, Steve Rifkin Company. 50 misspoke, but that's exactly the story I heard. That piece went. That's the first that I've heard of it physically ending up in somebody's hands. Was it being sent to Gabi at SRC, and then Gabi getting it to 50 Cent.
yeah, they got it back to us. And then from there though, is the first time that I came in contact with them.
This is a story that I believe happened. From what I could figure myself, to the information I get from people that I talk to the exclusive piece of music that I got, this sounds the most believable. From my understanding, between the person that got them the chain and themselves, whether it had been Godfather or somebody else, there wasn't any pressure involved. It was more of a friendly affair than that. Nobody reached out to the Flores twins and tried to sell them a chain. Flores twins at the time were not only in the dope business, but they were in the music business, as Young Buck was in the music business. And the way Tony Yayo tells it on Drink Champs is that Gabi called. And if you're in the music business, you know who Gabi is. Gabi reached out to the twins and said, yo, they got the GUNIT spinner in Chicago. Can you do anything to help us to get that back? Twins said, of course. Flores twins reach out to a friend. Could it be the Godfather? Maybe. Could it be somebody else just as influential? Absolutely. And they say, hey man, you heard about this GUNIT spinning chain got jacked out here? He said, yeah. From what I understand, they got somebody in R. Kelly's crew that's gonna middleman the situation and get that GUNIT spinner into the hands of Irv Gotti and Ja Rule. That'll do me some good right there. You can get me that back. Bet. Holla at you in a bit. Boom. Got that for you. Oh, that's what's up. Here you go. Nah, I ain't ask you for nothing. Go on, take that. Simple. None of the extras that we write into it as human beings that are into drama and you know, the simple story is never enough. But from my understanding, it was that simple. Nobody had to starve. No pipelines were shut down for anybody. Just a gesture of good faith between two big timers. After that interaction, the twins had the chain sent directly to SRC, to Gabi. Gabi got it to 50 Cent. 50 Cent offered a show of gratitude in the form of payment or some type of favor, and twins declined. A couple days passed. Gabi reached back out, again asking the twins if they'd like something for what they did for their service. And they were like, nah. Gabi was like, come on, man, we wanna reciprocate somehow. So, being that they were in the music business, and Young Buck was a hot commodity at the time, they said, throw me a Young Buck verse. Gabi said, enough said, I'm going to hook you up with Sean Money XL, who was managing Buck at the time, and we're going to make that happen. The twins being smart and recognizing that a verse without a clearance means nothing, let it be known, look, I don't just want no verse. I mean, I need the clearance. I don't want a verse that I can't do nothing with. Evidently, that's the point where Sean Money XL said no problem and charged them $30,000 for the clearance against 50's wishes. Doesn't sound too far-fetched when you understand how Sean Money XL moves, for instance.
Let me tell you something. Can I be honest?
Yeah, please.
Sean Money's the first nigga I seen robbing. Sean Money didn't make Wankster. Another producer made Wankster. The nigga that made Wankster was a nigga from, I don't even remember him. That's how bad he got jerked. Sean Money, 50's in the car, and the producer's calling like, yo, Sean Money saying this is beat. 50 turned around and he like, yo, you ain't even clear the shit yet. Saying this is fucking beat. So I just seen you jerk your first. I'm like learning in the game.
But all in all, the verse was delivered and the clearance was delivered. Out of all of these stories that we heard, we haven't seen one picture of anybody holding that chain other than the guys who claimed that they took it. Out of all the stories we hear about this chain, we don't hear nobody say that they got it into the hands of 50 Cent. We don't hear nothing about it from Young Buck. Not one word from Young Buck until now. I believe this shout out to the twin.
Young Buck, my homeboy man. Hey yo, twin, what up? Nigga, this G-Unit, hot.
And this shout out to Chicago.
I'm in the club with Chicago thugs, rocking Chicago Cubs. Now that's Chicago love. My chain spinning, nigga.
And the fact that he let it be known on the song that his chain is spinning,
my chain spinning, nigga,
is the connective tissue that tells me the Flores twins are the ones that actually got the chain back to 50 Cent. Not to say that all of the other stories cannot be true. I believe they're true. I believe at some point the Wolves had the chain. I believe at some point JoJo Capone got a hold of the chain. I believe at some point Spider Low got on the phone and started doing whatever politicking he was trying to do. But at the end of the day, whoever the ghost beneficiary was that paid JoJo Capone for that chain and the Flores twins, that was the final bridge. That was the final part of the transaction. Somebody secured the chain, the twins got the chain from them, and handed it right over to 50 Cent, which started a relationship that, here we are, 20 years later, and 50's executive producing their podcast, their documentary. Story's over. Close the book on the G-Unit spinning chain. I believe we know the truth.
Young Buck, my homeboy man. Hey yo, twin, what up? Nigga, this G-Unit, hot. I'm in the club with Chicago thugs, rocking Chicago Cubs. Now that's Chicago love. My chain spinning, nigga.